What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be looking at some of the tactical problems of Ralf Rangnick's Manchester United and how Erik Ten Hag will try and will have to change in order to be successful with Manchester United in the long term. Now, without getting too much into transfer speculation, we're going to look at just some tactical problems of this United team, and also take note that the tactical board is great to identify issues, but it can't take into things like intensity and emotion, which is a big part of football and could make or break a tactical system. And before we get into the analysis and the tactics that's been ruining Manchester United, check out the OneFootball app. That's me on your screen there. Just going through the app. It's the best app out there for all things football. It's completely free as well, and there's a link in the description below. It's the first link, you can't miss it. And the promotions with them is going to be ending very soon. We got one more month with them for them supporting the channel. So be sure to download and show your support to the channel and to the app. It's greatly appreciated, and it's a quality app. I use it myself. That's me on your screen using it now. And while you're in the description, check out both my books as well. And let's get into the tactics behind Manchester United. So Ralf Rangnick's shown that he's gone with a 4-2-3-1 this season under Manchester United, as they have done under previous managers. And I don't think that will change. I think Erik Ten Hag will come in and use a 4-2-3-1 as well. Then we're going to look at the midfield third as the main premise for our analysis and identifying inefficient trends tactically. So the first problem, top left of your screen, is the inefficient occupation of dangerous areas. So oftentimes with Manchester United, the midfielders become too narrow and go too far to one side and often take passing lanes away from each other. This starts with Matic positioning himself too vertically with Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay. We've also seen the wingers invert into the highlighted half spaces, but the timing is off with these inversions, so the passing lanes are actually taken away rather than created. Then with our fullbacks occupying the wide areas, here they're very narrow, but oftentimes United will stretch them out, and putting them in a wide area puts them in a vacant space, often isolating them and making them easily pressed. So with Erik Ten Hag, one of the key trends is a 4-3-3 system, single pivot, but a very fluid game approach with a fast tempo to the play and the use of a holding midfielder dropping between or outside the central defenders, creating a back three. So this now gives Manchester United passing options from each of the central corridors in their first line of build-up. It also gives them direct access to the half spaces to try and dribble and attract pressure to then release play through more dangerous areas. And as United have done this before, the intention behind it, as we talked about with the spacing, has been completely off, and the timing is bad. So a lot of this is similar concepts, but changing the timing and the intent around the actions. So we have our back three now, single pivot, and now the biggest change we'll see with Manchester United under Erik Ten Hag is the use of wide structures, three-man wide structures like Manchester City and Liverpool use, and the fast-moving fluidity and rotations around these areas. So with these players, when the ball arrives, the midfield will shift, and this match analysis is looking at the setup of Chelsea since they played Chelsea in their last match. So thought I would say that just briefly, but now we'll look at the wide structures. And the fluidity in these players is very important, as we see some movement, and they do a lot of fast one-touch interchanging play, but their movement always derives from creating width, then creating depth, threatening in behind, and exploiting the space that's left. So if the space is in behind, obviously they'll look to go in behind, but if the space is between the lines, they'll use fast interchangeable play to then access these areas. So now when we reset here, we'll look at their defensive play, which is arguably the more concerning part of Manchester United at the moment. So their problem is then flattened lines of pressure and the increased space between the lines. They often leave their holding midfielder stranded, and although it might not look exactly like this is the concept that they get completely wrong. Their first line of pressure with Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo often is completely flat, making it very easy for teams to break Manchester United. The wide midfielders often are too much oriented towards the fullbacks or the wide central defenders, making their movement very predictable and making it easy for teams to manipulate them. They then leave the most dangerous spaces in behind or between the lines completely vacant and out of the access of the holding midfielders, especially when they go to a 4-1-4-1. So as we look here, we'll see a few movements, and now Ronaldo goes up as he usually does, cuts off one side with minimal intensity, and then players get man-oriented towards the two holding midfielders of the opposing team and leaving Matic completely alone as the holding midfielder. So this then leaves the half spaces completely vacant and easily breakable avenues for the other team to hurt Manchester United through. So this will have to completely change, and I think it will change in the form of a change of structure, creating more of a flat three in midfield, giving them more compactness in the central areas with wider wingers pressing from out to in and using their cover shadow. So the midfield three will have to do a better job shifting across with more spatial orientation when they do fall back into their low block. And we'll look at see when Erik Ten Hag gets there, if he does decide to go with a higher intensity press higher up the field, they'll need a completely new squad to do so though. So it'll be interesting how he solves these problems when he takes over. But this is where we're going to wrap up the analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.